Okay, welcome to the Town of Deerfield Selectboard Board of Health Sewer Commissioners meeting for March 18th, 2026. The time is 6 p.m. This is a hybrid meeting, both on Zoom and in the main meeting room, 8 Conway Street, South Deerfield. This meeting will be held in a hybrid fashion with the opportunity for both in-person attendance and remote participation. Please note that while an option for the remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting or hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcasts unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with a particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. The meeting will be held in person in the main meeting room of the Deerfield Municipal Offices. In accordance with the Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, anyone intending to record the meeting must identify themselves with a clerk and provide their name and address for the record. So I'll call the meeting to order. First, we'll start off with public comment. If anyone has any comments on anything on the agenda. Oh, yes, I see a hand up. Hey, Lily. Welcome.
Thank you. Lily Dwight, South Mill River Road. I'll lower my hand here. I saw that you all are going to be discussing the transfer station, leafleting, and solicitation.
Yes.
And when this was last discussed, I shared my concerns about free speech.
Yep.
And the unique opportunity that the transfer station provides. And you all emphasized that the main issue is impeding, is maintaining traffic flow, which totally makes sense. Mm-hmm. However, my experience hasn't reflected that standard. Last fall, while handing out climate leader information near the can collection area, without impeding traffic, we were made to leave. Very firmly, I will say, a couple of old ladies. Anyway, more recently, as in, I believe it was last weekend, I've heard of people stopping, exiting vehicles to gather signatures, and they were not asked to leave. Mm-hmm. So this inconsistency makes it seem like enforcement depends on the message rather than the actual impact on traffic. So the draft policy language that was discussed previously also suggested that staff could remove people at their discretion. Yep. And I wasn't able to find the current policy that you are going to be discussing tonight, if it's changed, but I hope it has been clarified so that all residents are held to the same standards and all have equal access. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comments tonight? Hearing none, we'll get down to business. Let's see. We have, bear with me a minute here. So we have, let's see, first I'll move to approve the regular select board minutes for March 4th, 2026 as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any changes or discussions, or all those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Chair McDaniel, aye. Thank you very much. We do have, for discussion items, we have Stillwater Bridge order of takings. So this is 7A Stillwater Bridge orders of taking. This is by motion to acceptance and authorization of orders of taking. I hereby move the Select Board acquire by eminent domain for the necessary health and welfare of the inhabitants of the town of Deerfield for municipal purposes, more specifically for replacing the Stillwater Bridge on Upper Road, as authorized by Article 13 of the Town of Deerfield Annual Town Meeting of April 28th, 2025. That it further authorizes the board's chair, Trevor D. McDaniel, to execute and enter into any and all documents necessary to effectuate the acquisition of the following property. Easements in the parcels identified as TE-2, TE-3, TE-4, TE-8, TE-9, TE-10, D-PUE-2, PUE-2. I've got a hole in this one, so it's PUE-3, E-4, PUE-5. On a plan of land entitled Easement plan of land Upper Road over Deerfield River, Deerfield, Massachusetts, dated November 3rd, 2025, to be recorded in the Franklin County Registry of Deeds with the order of taking. And that, still further, the board award damages for said eminent domain takings in the total amount of $900 to the affected record owners of said land, the amount per record owner being specified in the aforementioned order taking. Note that the Select Board will consider the following easements over property of Great River Hydro, LLC, at the meeting to be scheduled on April 1st, 2026 at 6 p.m. Said easements include permanent easements in, on, over, under, and along the parcels of land owned by Great River Hydro, LLC, as shown on the plans and identified as E1, E2, E3, DS1, D1, S1, and PUE 6. For purposes including but not limited to bridge components, grading, maximum 2 to 1, loam and seed, tree removal, roadway reconstruction, drainage infrastructure, infiltration basins, utility pole and overhead wire relocation, and all activities incidental and related thereto. Said permanent easements shall vest rights of use for said purposes in the town of Deerfield in perpetuity. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments, or anyone have a question on parcel DE1? I assure you it's all listed somewhere and mapped out. So all those in favor? Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you want just a brief explanation, obviously these
Sure.
are the easements being taken for the Stillwater Bridge project, and the easements covered by tonight's taking are all of those from private landowners. So they're all quite minor easements, again, having to do with, well, I won't go into it, but
Yes.
you heard.
Yes.
Utilities, et cetera. And then on April 1st, so in a couple weeks' time, we will be looking at the easements proposed for Great River Hydro as well. We're just having council look into those a little bit more deeply before we actually move forward with the takings. But by providing notice tonight, we should be good to proceed with those on April 1st.
Great. Sounds good. All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilge, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Secondary motion, authorization to record and notify. Move to authorize the town administrator to cause the approved orders and taking to be recorded at the Franklin County Registry of Deeds to provide all required statutory notices to effectuate property owners, to affected property owners, and to take any ministerial actions necessary to effectuate the takings. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilge, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Great. So that takes care of that. So we have a, so next item B is to review the draft annual town meeting warrant. So I know you did a quick list there of.
Yeah, and you should, at this point, I think we just wanted to go through kind of a list of the proposed articles.
Yeah.
And also, you know, who's proposed to speak to which articles.
Okay.
Just want to make sure everyone's got it
Yeah,
in
it's
front
just
of
a
them.
kind of a one sheet. It's not the whole thing. You're at the end.
No, I think if it is the order, it should be like the next page
Oh.
over, I think.
Spoon
You got yours? You got yours, yep. Okay.
It's right here. Just past the takings.
Okay.
It's right here.
Thank you.
Okay, so you got the first section, which is kind of normal stuff.
Yeah, obviously, we always open up town meeting with some softballs, so to speak. So
Yep.
the pro forma acceptance of the town report, elected official compensation, acknowledgement of gifts, the library interest, acceptance of grants, and the select board and assessors contracting authority. Then Article 2 is free cash transfers to the reserve fund, the OPEB liability trust fund, and to vocational education.
Yep.
Article 3, we always just accept the, standard revolving fund caps.
Sure.
And then Article 4, I guess, is when it starts to get interesting. So we'll do snow and ice shortfall. I think at this point we're about $100,000 over our budget for that one. So I know Holly and I have been looking at the vocational education budget because we budgeted for 2 full-time Smith Voc students. We ended up with 1 and then 1.5 and then
Right.
1 again. So there may be some funds there. So we'll take a look at that.
Good.
And some other options for meeting that shortfall.
Okay.
Article 5, the omnibus budget, obviously still in development. Article 6, the sewer enterprise fund.
Okay.
And Articles 7 and 8 have to do with SCEM. So one is the regular enterprise fund.
Yep.
And then Article 8, Josh had, approached, I think, both the BOO and our finance committee as well about establishing a capital stabilization fund specifically for SCEMs. So, that's on the list here of articles, but obviously it is the select board's agenda if they want to move forward with that.
Okay.
Article 9 is FY26 capital improvement plan. So we have a couple projects that actually already went before CIPC last week that need to get done before June 30th. So we'll move forward with those given the approval they received from CIPC, and I'm assuming we're going to find something similar from Finance Committee as well. Okay. And then Article 10 is the actual FY27 capital improvement plan, and that's sort of yet to be determined. We're going to have a CIPC meeting on the 26th to talk about some of the additional projects that are still being considered. And I would note that meeting is now remote, but we'll probably be meeting in the conference room.
Okay.
For those who want to join us that way. So. Article 11, CPC Community Preservation Committee recommendations. I did include just a couple placeholders here for the moment. Articles 12 and 13, just for Elm Street and the Town Common project. We're obviously, very close to going out to bid for the Elm Street project. You never know what you might need to do at town meeting and those kinds of situations, so it's just good to have a placeholder.
Sure.
Similar with Stillwater Bridge, we're going to be advertising in April for that.
Sure.
And then we get into some minor bylaw updates. One of these is the Capital Improvement Plan Committee bylaw. So this fall, when we were looking at the bylaw, we noticed a couple minor issues with it. One, it actually requires our treasurer collector to be a member of the CIPC. I don't know if Sarah has ever attended one of those meetings, and I don't know if her predecessor did ever either. My suggestion there is just to include the treasurer collector as someone who can be consulted by the committee in the case of borrowings and things like that. It's not really necessary to have them there at meetings. Yeah.
Right.
So that's one minor change, and then another one that came up was just the sequencing. We have the way it's written, we have kind of a much higher threshold to do capital in the fall. That there's some good reasons for that, right? You don't know exactly how much free cash you might need towards your next year's budget. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, you have capital projects coming up in the spring. It's great to be able to actually move forward with them in the fall and do engineering or whatever you need to do before you actually break ground. So one that may bear some discussion, but it was just something that came up this fall during CIPC, whether or not we might want to, kind of loosen up the language there a little bit to allow some more flexibility for the CIPC to recommend projects in the fall as well.
Okay.
And then the last one of the bylaw changes I have on here for the moment is wiring violations. So our wiring inspector came across the fact that we don't actually have any sort of penalties for essentially not going to the wiring inspector when you have a major electrical project at your home.
Right.
There are a couple of different ways to handle this. Greenfield has a pretty simple bylaw. But also we have the non-criminal disposition option, so we can add, violations of our electrical code to that list of violations of town bylaws that would allow the inspector to actually go, levy a fine.
Sure.
And take it to court if needed. And that's a power that, Bob, as our building inspector, has for zoning violations, but not every individual inspector has that power. So, again, it's something to consider at this point, and it's a request from our wiring inspector.
Okay.
Does that have to be a bylaw, or can it be like a policy?
The criminal disposition, non-criminal disposition is written into our bylaws, so that would have to be some kind of bylaw change. Yeah.
So if we wanted to change the fines, we would.
Yeah, the fines have been essentially set in stone, right? So they're $25, I think, on the first day, and then $50 every day thereafter, and it kind of escalates. So, yeah. And then that's it for the proposed warrant from the Select Board so far. And then Articles 16, 17, and 18 would be citizen petitions. We have received the senior property tax work-off petition that we were anticipating, and that South County Senior Center had reached out about this past winter.
Yep.
As well as a couple citizen petitions that we're familiar with, having to do with climate and energy. We are anticipating, we've had a few residents approach us about other citizen petitions, so this may be a citizen petition heavy year, but
Okay.
we don't know just yet.
Sure.
Just kind of putting it out there. And certainly keep that in mind as we, determine the length of the overall warrant.
I don't see the Prop 2.5 override.
Well, this is your time to have that conversation.
The citizen
So anyway, that's
petition.
for the moment.
petition.
For the moment, that's the warrant. But obviously, happy to
Yeah.
chat with the board about
Great
any
work.
of these items.
Sounds good to have a.
I may regret
Schedule.
asking this question, but what is the cutoff date by which you have to have a citizen's petition into the?
Last month.
Yeah. So our bylaws require that we close the warrant 30 days prior, and given that, so that would be, I think, Saturday, April 11th. So we're going to close it April 8th, since that's the last select board meeting, Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
We do have some folks asking questions. I don't know if the board wants to take public comment at this time.
Sure. I guess we could. It's out of order, but yeah. Julie, you have a question?
Julie, you're muted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, good.
Sorry, didn't know that it was out of order.
No worries.
I was just wondering, in terms of the warrant, this is a partial list, right, at this point, because we are looking towards a warrant article to establish a conservation fund, and then also, I don't know if you were, I think you at some point mentioned the community preservation articles that would be in there.
Yeah, Julie, thank you for mentioning that. Yes, and I received the Conservation Fund article. It wasn't clear to me if that was going to be among the CPC recommendations, so I didn't have it as a standalone article here, though it would be a standalone motion. But as I get deeper into crafting the warrant with our council, we'll certainly flesh that out and make sure it's included if it needs to be a standalone article. So, but thank you for mentioning that. Appreciate it.
We do have the CPC as Article 11 right now. The CPC stuff will be Article 11.
Great.
Yep.
Yeah, as my understanding is the establishment of the conservation fund is, it's not done by the CPC, so it would be a separate warrant article from the CPC.
Noted.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think there's still discussion on whether that. I think between Finance Committee, Select Board still discussing whether
Yep.
that's going to happen or not.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, that's a good overview. Thank you. Let's see. The next item here is the transfer station nonprofit political organization solicitation policy. I saw that there was a correspondence with Lisa.
Yeah, I included some correspondence from Lisa on this one. I think an earlier draft that Matthew had put forward. It had some stronger language around select board approval. He's kind of watered that down a bit to just permission being granted by the town. Lisa's point on this is just that if the board is going to be serious about picking and choosing who's doing what up there, they could get into some
Legal problems.
deep waters in terms of the
Absolutely.
First Amendment. So,
Right.
On the other hand, I think it does sort of function as a place where people can get their message out, but whether it's a true public forum, I don't know, because we really, obviously the main purpose of the space is to leave your trash.
Correct.
So-
Correct. We really do not want to make this into some other entity that it is not. Generally, it is a place for people with a sticker to do transfer station work to come there and do and recycle and get rid of their trash. It just happens to be the place where everybody kind of congregates now instead of Jerry's place, or something like that. It is kind of walking a fine line because you are opening things up to anything under the sun. To be there. But I was trying to understand from her discussion is whether we label it a public forum or a government forum space. There's a difference there.
Right, yeah. And I think, my suggestion was because if we have some direction here, if the board really does not want to be involved in granting or denying permission,
Do not.
then that gives Lisa some direction to go and craft the policy in a way that matches that preference.
I don't think it's fair for I don't think it's a place for the select board to decide who would be there. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like it's, probably not. Considering, a lot of times one of us is running. So, it's not really fair for us to decide, we could be denied just as anybody else. But, but I think.
Yeah, when I was thinking about this, I was thinking that the policy that would be brought forward would be, the DPW has to be notified that somebody wants to do something there, as opposed to approving who it is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the DPW should be necessarily concerning themselves with that. It's just a question of some people are booted out and some people aren't. It's happened several times.
Right.
And there's no justifiable reason why one group is allowed and the other isn't, except that, the guy that's working or the person that's working at the transfer station is pro-gun or not pro-gun. And that's nonsense. It really should just be, we've notified the DPW that on April 18th, we're going to be there respectfully.
In this specific spot, not mingling around, right? Yeah.
And I don't know why the select board would be involved in this.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So I think probably what we'll do is I'm going to take it back to Lisa, kind of present the consensus I think I'm hearing on how to approach this, and bring Matthew into it as well, which I think,
Right.
It sounds like his concerns can be addressed pretty easily.
As long as people are in those specific areas when
Exactly.
they go. It's not like what we don't want to have happen is somebody decide, I'm just going to go get rid of everybody today because I don't want them here. If they're following the policy and the rules and they're in their specific spot and they're not, impeding traffic or anything like that, then, they're allowed to be left
Right.
alone.
And so I think the key here is notification rather than permission, maybe.
Correct.
Yeah, something like
Notification,
that. Yeah.
and then just hands off, just let it
All
happen.
right. Well,
And follow the rules. Yeah.
I'll bring this back on the 1st, and
Sounds
we'll
great.
take another run at it. But
Sounds
yes,
good.
hopefully, between Lisa and Matthew and myself, we can bring something to the board that makes sense to,
That's great.
to pass.
Perfect, thank you. Then let's see, discussions with Eagle Brook School regarding land?
Yes, obviously a big item on there. I'll keep it brief. Eagle Brook reached out some months ago and was just interested in talking to the town. I don't know what nature those conversations will take, and so what I wanted to do is just establish if there's a member of the select board who wants to be included in those conversations, and obviously at the end result will be some kind of public process, if it even gets there, around land disposition, if that's actually what they're interested in. But in the interim, while we're having those conversations, just wanted to get some sense from the board how you want to approach that.
Yeah, so are they maybe interested in land that we own, or are they maybe?
That we own, and some of the districts own as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, and I've been interested in talking about safety and like parking and like people traveling that area. People use it a lot in the nice weather and any time of the year, but generally in nice weather. And then, we get complaints because everyone's just parking on the road. So it'd be interesting to have that. I don't need to be the one doing it, so I'm happy if anybody wants to do it. But if that subject could be talked about, if there is a talk about land or not, or even if nothing happens, could we find a little space for a dirt place off the road that could be safe for people to park for recreation? But I'm open. Anybody wants to?
It sounds almost like, we don't know what they want to talk about.
Yeah.
So until we know what they want to talk about, then we don't need to be involved. And once there's a concrete discussion, then maybe all of us should be involved.
Yeah, or maybe you want to just have
That's fine as well. Staff is
administration.
happy. We can initiate the conversation. When they approached us about it several months ago, we were in the process of finalizing a survey for the Pecumtuck Rock parcel.
Correct.
And so we told them we're gonna finish that, so we really know where everything is on
Yes.
our side, and then
Yep.
we'll get back to you.
Okay.
So anyway,
run with it
happy
for
to
now.
re-engage, and then when appropriate, we'll bring the board into the conversation as
good.
well.
That's perfect. That sounds good. Thank you. And then we have a municipal vulnerability preparedness grant letter of support. Are there two here, or is it? I saw.
Yeah, there are two, and they're connected.
Oh, they are connected.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's
One
two
stop?
letters. One for the MVP group, which is the Deerfield group, and then they're partnering with the Franklin Conservation District.
Okay.
Which we will not be overseeing, but they are going to be putting in an application and requested that the town write a letter of support because the work will be done along the Bloody Brook. They're going to be involved in doing brook restoration and repairing buffer work, as well as doing looking at upland retention and educational programs for both residents and students. On the Deerfield side, we're putting in applications for the Pleasant Street culvert and the Captain Lathrop culvert.
So I have. I'm not part of the MVP group, so I don't know what's been discussed and all. My major want is like critical culvert work, and it was great when we did the Captain Lathrop. Yeah, when we did that one, and we did Mill River as well. And I was noticing the other one.
Well, there was the Kelleher.
Oh, Kelleher. Thank you.
I think that's what
Kelleher.
you meant. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Kelleher Drive, and then Mill Village Road. I noticed another one kind of sinking in. I was going to mention it to Matt too. There's like two streams that cross Mill River on the way up towards DA or Old Deerfield. There's a kind of a dip right where that culvert is. I wonder if we should probably look at that too. I thought of it now. But so I'm interested in the culvert work, and I'm just, what are we doing with the rest of it, like educating kids and all that stuff? Or
Well, they're two separate things.
Yeah, the
Okay.
Franklin, the Conservation District is going to be is putting in an application to address the brook bank restoration
Yeah.
and the educational program. So we're not
part of that.
We're just adding
Okay.
a letter
We're
of
just
support
giving
to
them a letter
say,
of support. Got it.
it's in Deerfield and we support this.
Sure.
Yep.
So, by way of discussion, why Pleasant Street and why Captain Lathrop? As part of the hydraulic and hydrological study that the MVP got funding for, these were identified as choke points, and
Yeah.
the Captain Lathrop, I think, also has Is that the one that has
Pump
the
station.
weird pipe?
It has the pump
Has the
station.
pump station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, oh, there's Alex. She should
Hey,
probably
Alex.
be talking about this.
Hey there.
Sure, I can jump in. You were doing great though, Tim. I mean, yeah, Pleasant Street is like the highest priority on the MVP plan that we put up. It also makes sense because Frontier's doing their parking lot, so really just kind of continuing that work through that area makes a lot of sense. And then, yeah, Captain Lathrop, it does house one of the sewer pump station right there. And on the northern side, the inlet side where water's coming in, it's actually starting to fall in, so that there's a stormwater drain inlet that kind of sits on top of the culvert. And because there was a tree there, the roots popped it up, and it's really just kind of eroding out that northern side of that Captain Lathrop Drive culvert. So those two make the most sense. And I guess just to add on, we are preliminary talked with GZA. They're going to do a little bit of some of the design work as part of the current MVP action grant. And this next step of it is going to really be looking and doing a lot more surveying, because we've determined that they'll have to be Mass DOT bridges, unfortunately, just because they exceed likely a 10-foot width in the span. So there'll be a lot more design work, and so this will really just be a lot of surveying, a lot of permitting. We'll probably do one presentation for public outreach, but and it also could be funded either through MVP or through the DER culvert program. We're not really sure which. The whole impetus for this Eco One Stop is they'll kind of align the right funding sources. So we're kind of writing a grant that may qualify under both.
Okay, great. All right. Well, let's see. Give me a second here. So I move to approve and authorize the chair to sign the municipal vulnerability preparedness MVP grant letters of support as presented.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilge, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you very much. Let's see. We also had for board appointees. We're going to appoint Mark Brennan as finance chair, or excuse me, finance committee. Julie would love that. Mark Brennan is finance committee rep to the capital improvement planning committee. So I will read
Alice
that.
Koo.
I will read that here. So I move to appoint Mark Brennan as the finance committee representative of the capital improvement planning committee, CIPC.
Second.
Thank you. Great. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilge, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Thank you very much. And then also, saw a letter in my basket today I move to accept Karen Menard's retirement letter effective June 30th, as stated, with appreciation for her years of service to the town. I have a motion for that in a second.
Second.
Second, thank you. All those in favor? Comments?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilge, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. Just also wanted to thank Karen. I'm sure we'll have other opportunities to thank her, but just formally accept their resignation letter, or retirement letter, not resignation letter, but retirement letter. Thank her for her years of service.
Yeah, and wish her a happy retirement.
Yes.
A long and happy retirement.
Glad we'll have time to do that more formally, too. So we have all those in favor, right? We did that. Yep. Okay, good. We also got notice, I know this was a little late, but it makes sense, right, to do. I read the letter from Chief to make this motion we can discuss. So a move to appoint Ethan Russell as the full-time police officer effective June 1st, 2026 at the rate of $27.90 per hour in accordance with the applicable collective bargaining agreement.
Second.
Thank you. So this is great news. I know that I think maybe it was, Tim Bolin will be departing the agency in June for state police, and therefore the backfill of the full-time vacancy is critical to police operations. I know we have kind of a freeze on hiring, but and
we'll be chatting about it momentarily.
Right, we'll be chatting about it momentarily. So Ethan was appointed part-time and was sent to the full-time police academy. And let's see. At 22 years old, he's currently serving town of Deerfield, and we're looking forward to having him here. He graduated, I think, in December of 2025 from the police academy. So, yeah,
Sounds like he's already in the chute anyways.
Yeah.
Because they trained him.
very well. Yep. So did we vote all that already? We're good? Did
I
we?
don't think you had a motion on
Okay,
it.
all those in favor? Or do we make a motion? I moved to, I made the motion. We seconded. Yep.
Second.
All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
Trevor McDaniel, aye. First day on the job, guys, sorry. I see the motion to adjourn, but is there anything else? We can do that for now?
Got some quick
update.
updates. Did want to talk about the hiring freeze. So obviously, back on February 12th, we had put together a memo just directing department heads not to backfill vacant positions. Since that time, we've had the DES budget, the FRS budget come in fairly favorably for the town. Health insurance obviously went from being either a 16 or 20% increase to only a 12.5% increase, which in these troubled times doesn't feel so bad. This is all to say that the budget situation has improved markedly, and so at this point we're recommending just rescinding that memo to department heads so that they can move forward with the hiring process for needed staff.
Okay, sounds good to me. All right.
Don't need a motion or anything, just wanted to give you the update.
Good.
And then I know Alex was going to speak really quick to just an Elm Street, Complete Streets, MassWorks project update. So take it away, Alex.
Thanks. So the snow melted, yay, because that means we can actually get some land surveyors out there and figure out the corner, in particular the intersection by Leo's and Cheslick's Market, because they're still trying to make sure that trucks and our ag equipment will be able to make the right turn from coming down on North Main Street and taking a right onto Elm Street. But we did submit the consultants, I say we, but I mean the royal we. The consultants submitted our Mass DOT permitting that we needed in order to do the work in the intersection just last week. And then we're also, I think, ready to start really having the conversation with Mass DOT about the Common project. So I think those are kind of some of the big items that'll come up. And then this summer, I think as Christopher kind of alluded to earlier, this spring, we plan to bid out the project and hopefully start construction this summer. And then, one more, just FYI, we might bid out an alternate to pave the parking lot by Railroad Street. So it's the one that's in between the railroad and Railroad Street next to Hamshaw. And so we might put in some striping and pave it and put in some landscaping just along the railroad just to make it a little bit nicer. It'll be an alternate, so if the bids come back favorable, we can choose to act on it, and if it doesn't, then we can delete it from the project. So is there anything else I missed, Christopher, that you wanted to add on?
No, we're going to be reaching out to business owners about how the project affects them, and particularly the areas right in front of their businesses on the north side of Elm Street. So those conversations are yet to come, but yeah.
Good.
Imminent.
Does anyone know? Speaking of Railroad Street, recently I've come across a situation where there are cars parked in half the road sitting in front of the wooden structure that's on the opposite side of Hamshaw Lumber, and I don't know what's going on there. I don't really care, but there seem to be people sitting in chairs, and I don't know if they're having beers or what, but if there are two cars trying to go in either direction, you basically have to stop, and as far as I can tell, it's not a parking zone.
Yeah, I suspect it's been rented out as like band practice space or something. I've seen some people moving equipment, like amps and things like that. So we might just let them know that that's fine. Just park in this other spot if that's the issue.
Yeah, I was just curious because it's a recent development, and I didn't see any long hair or short hair or any indication of what was going on, but I know that it's Anyway, good answer.
Yeah, so I think that might be what's going on, but we'll check it out.
Well, no, it looked like they built a deck there, and
Are you feeling offended?
pressure-treated lumber and,
I resemble that statement. Great. Okay.
Well, thanks, Alex. Do you have anything else on Elm Street or no? Great, appreciate it. Thank you.
And I zoned for a minute. Did you mention we were kind of talking about the common and how we interacts a little bit and trying to figure out what we can and can't do with that corner?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
just-
Well, and I think, we might expand some of the Elm Street work to include the common. I'm going to reach out to a handful of our engineers and see if we can maybe bid those separately, but in tandem to at least continue where we're going to end the curb from the crosswalks to the intersection at the common and maybe at least go to the fountain, at
Yeah.
least go a little somewhere nicer than just kind of a curb to grass. So be in the spirit of accessibility.
Yeah.
I was also interested in asking, I know you talk to MassDOT a lot, but it would be, and I'm not sure, where does Elm Street stop? Is it in the center of the intersection or is it at the corner? And could we ask MassDOT to pave from, to meet us in the middle? Because we've got 3 years ago, they paved the road and they stopped at a certain place and it's potholes and, who's responsible for fixing it? So just wondering how willing they are to make the whole road look new, since, it'll be new on one side and new on the other side and not in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that'll be
Go
a
ahead.
subject of our conversations with MassDOT regarding the common as well. Yep, for sure.
Good.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Alex.
So we've 7 o'clock. So we'll adjourn this meeting in a minute here, and then we're going to.
The last thing. Just wanted to mention the some Stillwater Road properties that are going up for auction. 91 Stillwater Road. So this is the small parcel of the larger Romanowski property. That is going out to auction March 25th at noon.
Okay.
I believe those auctions are being conducted on site. And similarly, 97, which is the large parcel, that'll be June 24th at noon.
Okay.
So did just want to get that out there and get it on the board's radar if it's not already.
Yep. That's great. Thank you.
Do you know what a rod is?
You mean how long a rod is? I've actually seen differing definitions of it. So 16 feet is what I've often heard, but
5.5 yards.
Yeah, that was what he looked up. And
I thought it was named Rod, so we just his height.
lay him down sideways.
That tall, man.
you can sometimes triangulate if you have the modern measurement in feet, but yeah, it's varying definitions.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Blake Gilmore, aye.
Tim Hilchey, aye.
John McDaniel, aye. We will reconvene the dog hearing at 7 o'clock, so another